I believe that what's killing racing is the collision of financial interest, return on investment, with the interest of sport and horses. Now you can think to yourself, well, every other sport has that collision of financial return and financial interest with the sporting interest, the spirit of sports and so forth. We see it in every sport in the world. Ours has a horse. Ours has an animal. That makes it different. Now we have a stud book in this country, the Jockey Club, the registry, and I believe the Jockey Club is also affected by this same very serious problem of the collision of financial interest with the interest of the horse. Soundness is what a registry should stand for. Conformation, quality, substance, and soundness. Compare the registry in the United States with registries of non-racing equestrian sport horses and race horses in some places in Europe. You will see a very big difference. When the interest of financial return for breeding, auctions, sales, and so forth commands and overwhelms the interest of the horse, when unsoundness is permitted to be bred to unsoundness, when the incentives of the horse, when the incentives of the sport are to retire horses at 3 before you even know if a horse is really sound. The test of breeding used to be racing, and racing meant racing into maturity at age 5, when a horse is fully mature. That's where you determine whether a horse is really sound. Now, these are very harsh, opinionated words coming from somebody who is not a breeder of thoroughbreds, but I've bred non-racing sport horses. And if you breed a Holsteiner to a Holsteiner for jumping, you don't have a Holsteiner until the foal is approved for soundness. We need sound horses. Another thing that I think is critically important is for all the veterinarians, and there are many in this room, I assume, and Dr. Arthur has heard me make this little speech before. I think the regulatory veterinarians and the practicing veterinarians on the racetrack need to get together. They all take the same oath. At the RMTC meeting a couple of months ago, I made the point that I didn't think the regulatory veterinarian conference should be closed to practicing veterinarians. Maybe some aspects of it have to be, but that shows a tension or a divide that I don't think is healthy for the horse, the welfare of the horse. We can talk all we want about this spike. I think there are lots of reasons for the spike, but all of them really don't address the underlying problem that even without a spike, with all due respect to Dr. Palmer, the equine injury frequency in thoroughbred racing is too high. I'm very glad to see that in general it's declining overall on a statistical basis, but it is absolutely unacceptable to the public, and it should be to us as horsemen, to have even the very low numbers that, relatively speaking, we saw in synthetics. Finally, I just want to make the point that we, and Dr. Arthur knows I feel this way, the wealth of information that is provided in California's vet confidentials is critically important to be subject to electronic and data analysis so that we can marry that to what's actually happened.